Okay, everybody, it is still me, Gregory Mannarino, post-market wrap-up on this lovely Veterans Day. 2020, let's talk you and me. Very interesting things going on and a really big piece of news. You know what? Maybe we'll start off with the really big piece of news. The Federal Reserve said today, and this is a big relief to me. I'm sure it's going to be a big relief to you. Are you ready? The stock market is not overvalued. Yes. I mean, when I heard this from the Federal Reserve, a sigh of relief came over me. I'm like, of course, this is the truth, isn't it? I mean, here is the truth. If you look at the stock market, what it's doing right now, and you can look ahead a little bit to what I've been explaining to you is currently happening and will happen to a greater degree moving forward. Well, you know what? Maybe the Federal Reserve is correct. What? Parabolic debt on an epic freaking scale. Now, if you were the Federal Reserve finishing your final solution to become the lender and buyer of everything, okay? Yeah, if that were you, well, then maybe you could look at the stock market and say, well, we're going to issue more debt than anyone could possibly imagine in their wildest dreams. So what's going to happen? Yeah, the stock market's going to go up. So look, if you haven't heard me say this before, I'm going to say it again right now. The Federal Reserve is public enemy number one. Public enemy number one, and the Federal Reserve is a curse upon the world, mankind, however you want to look at it. This is a putrid organization that is literally attempting to and succeeding in taking over the world. That is a fact. You must understand this if you understand nothing else in the current environment. All right? The Federal Reserve has one product, debt. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become. They are unstoppable at this particular time. The strongest organization on the planet, bar none, period, the end. And they have the entire United States military to back them up. The enforcement arm of the Fed is the United States military in its entirety, including its nuclear arsenal. I want you to think about that. They have their own police force. Did you know that? The Federal Reserve has their own police force. They are quite the threat to humanity. And what are we doing? We're arguing about all kinds of other nonsense when the Federal Reserve is the enemy. Period. The end. Look no further. But according to the Fed, again, you could put this into perspective, the market is not overvalued. Lovely. All right, let's talk about this market here. We finished mixed today. Dow had a fractional loss. S&P slight gain, but the NASDAQ was the real story. We put on over 2%. The market put on over 2% with regard to the NASDAQ. If you know my work, or yesterday I even spoke about this market is very dependent on the tech sector. Without tech turning around, and it did today in a big way, well, the market's going to struggle to make new gains. Now, the U.S. 10-year yield, which I fixate on, didn't move too much today. 0.979, 0.98. Still waiting here. It's waiting for somewhere to go. And if it makes its way into the stock market, because the Fed says the market's not, it's not overvalued, so it must be fair or undervalued according to the Fed, and according to debt explosions, that cash is going to make its way into the stock market, and we're going to go boom, 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 higher. More than likely, that's the scenario. Let's move forward here. Cryptocurrencies turned around big time. Bitcoin now knocking on the $16,000 door, going much higher. Much, much higher. Gold and silver, of course, remain under pressure. We all understand why. It's a rigged game. Mass debt expansion on an epic scale, and anti-debt units have pressure on them. In truth, I mean, look, in truth, metals should be exponentially higher, and they will be, and they will be. This market is euphoric right now for a multitude of reasons. The game is risk on. You got the Federal Reserve doing what they're doing, finishing their final solution to be the lender and buyer of last resort so they can own the world. Trillions of dollars in more debt coming, and I mean on an incredible scale, more than we could ever imagine. That's what they're doing to finish their final solution, to finish their end game. Good. They're going to play their game. We are going to play our game. Speaking of playing our game, for my lions out here, or any of you who subscribe to my free newsletter, link in the description of this video, I released a brand new intraday trading system. It's free. It's for you, and it's for free. Yay! Take advantage of it. Again, if you want to see it, or hopefully you have already, subscribe to my newsletter and just go have a look at it and play with it. I outlined the whole thing for you. I put up 4 charts, how they work, the settings for them. I told you, we're not going to lose here. Let's move forward. Crude oil put on a gain today despite the fact that OPEC is saying there's going to be a fall in global demand as the global economy is in free fall. It's our global economy, not just here in the United States, is in free fall. I want to share a little story with you. So last night, this is how it's getting here in Las Vegas here. Homelessness is exploding. I'm driving home in my Hellcat last night. Kind of late. I pull up to a light, nobody around. Pitch freaking black. All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, some shady looking dude comes around to my car and is attempting to open my door. Okay, I think he obviously wanted to carjack me. Well, as he's doing this, light turns green. My Hellcat has 717 horsepower. Okay, I punch my foot to the floor. I ignite the tires. The engine is screaming. I probably made the guy deaf, hopefully. But the scary thing is there are people out there like this. I have a couple of friends with me as well, Smith and Wesson, so he wasn't going to get away with too much. But that's that's besides the point. But this is the state of affairs in our collapsing economy. Melting down economy, which is about to get worse. I mean, look, they can say what they want to say here. Our economy is in free fall. There's been no recovery whatsoever. So with that said, you can expect things like this to continue. All right. And so what's the lesson from last night for all of you? Be very careful. If you're driving at night, even if you're not driving a Hellcat, and if you don't have, your friends Smith and Wesson with you, you just got to be really careful in this environment. Be very aware of your surroundings. Make sure you lock the doors in your car. Okay. Because you just never know what's going to happen here. And I think crime is going to explode here in the United States and around the world as people become more desperate. Again, this is the scenario. The scenario is a creation of pandemonium in the streets so they can finish issuing in their final solution and a new set of rules. A whole new set of rules are coming down the pike. And a new dollar, of course. I think you already are well aware of that. Speaking of the dollar was slightly stronger today, but I mean, for the long run, I mean, if we understand, I mean, it should be a no-brainer. Do you think I'm wrong on this? Let me know. If we realize trillions, more trillions, and more trillions of dollars on top of that are going to be created out of thin air magically by public enemy number one, the Federal Reserve. How is this positive for you dollar bulls out here? You're going to tell me, oh, it's, the prettiest lady at the ball? How about no? Okay. No, the prettiest lady at the ball here is going to be physical gold, physical silver, and of course, cryptocurrencies. But you hold your dollars. You make sure you're hoarding your dollars because me and my lions are going to eat your lunch for you like you have no idea. But you keep holding on to those dollars as my Bitcoin balloons. My gold and silver, we're just waiting for that to take off. But again, look at the run gold had recently too. I mean, come on, you want to hold dollars? Good for you. I wish you the best. Anyway, look, I think you get the picture here, people. I really do. I hope you do, at least. We have a market that is so disconnected from reality. It's in hyper bubble territory. The stock market is in hyper bubble territory on the back of what? A Frankenstein monster evolving debt bubble, which is going to get monumentally worse with the Federal Reserve here, finishing what they started back in 1913. Is this clear enough to you? It really should be. Anyway, what else? I think I covered all the important points here today. Keep your eye on that 10-year yield. Look for the euphoria here in the market to continue for a little bit. Look for some volatility too. But the bottom line is this market is anticipating more debt. And I mean more debt, especially after today, when the Fed is saying, oh, the market's not overvalued. Duh! Because what they're telling you is they're going to flood the world with more dollars. Flood the world with more dollars. Not that they have no choice here. This is their choice. It's by design. I know that there are like some kind of freak show YouTube channels out here and a lot of articles. Oh, the Fed's going to print money because they have no choice. Yeah, it is a choice. It's a deliberate act what the Federal Reserve is doing right now. A deliberate, just like bank, after bank gets caught rigging the markets, JP Morgan got caught again yesterday after they just got caught a month ago rigging the markets. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's this financial system on the level. It's perfect, isn't it? And the Federal Reserve, well, I think you know who the Federal Reserve is. I hate the Federal Reserve. I can't tell you that enough, how much I detest the Federal Reserve, because I realize what they're doing. We should all realize what they're doing here. And the fact of the matter is they're unstoppable with their own police force, with the entire military might of the United States of America, including its nuclear arsenal. Try to take action against the Federal Reserve, anybody. I don't care who you are. Presidents, kings, queens, monarchs. Let's see, maybe we could remember the JFK assassination. Yeah, maybe we could. All right, look, I'm out of here. This guy here loves you a lot. Please share the video. I hope I put some light on this for you and you could really come away from this video saying, yeah, that's about right. I'm out here. See you in the morning.